everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to talk about a movie that came out not that a couple months, maybe almost not a month ago, almost like a month ago now, and I haven't gotten around to reviewing it, but I wanted to see it, and I finally got to see it. Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I think it's Odenkirk. But either way, and you know Bob Odenkirk, you've seen him in things. He was incredible. He was in Incredibles 2. He was also he's Saul from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. So you've seen Bob Odenkirk before. He was in the first season of Fargo. He's been in a lot of stuff. Honestly, he's all over the place. Like, he's in a lot. And generally speaking, he's a more comedic actor. Drama/comedic. I'd say drama/comedic because he turned in a very dramatic performance in Better Call Saul. He's done great work, I've heard, in Better Call Saul. I watched Breaking Bad, didn't watch Better Call Saul. Which now I'm thinking, maybe I should watch Better Call Saul. Like, because I've heard great things about it. But, like, I heard it's probably the greatest spin-off show ever of all time, as some people consider Breaking Bad to be the greatest show of all time. I definitely consider it to be one of the best shows I've seen. I mean, it was one of those things where I started watching Breaking Bad and I started going, and his character, Bob Odenkirk, stuck out. And Bob Odenkirk sticks out in everything that he's in. I immediately recognized his voice in Incredibles 2 when he was like that one guy's, the big billionaire's son. I immediately recognized his voice. But I will admit, I was skeptical about Bob Odenkirk being a badass, being like a John Wick style badass. Like, and I was like, I don't know about this. From what I know of Bob Odenkirk, this seems like a stretch. And the last time I had that feeling was with Kristen Wiig as Cheetah. I never once bought her doing a damn thing in that movie. So I was like, is this going to be another situation where a more comedic/dramatic actor tries to do action and it's just not believable? I am happy to say I was completely wrong. First of all, Bob Odenkirk got in fantastic shape to do this. There's certain scenes, because, there's certain sequences where you kind of see him working out in the movie. And man, like I said, he is in great shape. He is like you can tell, like, he has, like, there are older men who are in great shape, but like, you can't really tell because of the kind of clothes they wear. And then there are older dudes who are in great shape, and you could just tell by looking at their frame that they are in shape. And he had that kind of body type going. I was like, oh man, he's in great shape. I believe him. And he's got this scruff going. He's got this look going. He uses that dramatic side of him to really put across how the character he's playing in this movie is as they say, a wolf in sheep's clothing. How he's almost like a wolf more like a wolf in sheep who wants to be a sheep it's not a wolf in sheep's clothing so that they can get close to the sheep and eat them. It's like, no, she wants to be a sheep. But deep down, he has urges. He still has urges to just, get doing so. Because up top of the movie, they just show how monotonous his life is. Bob Odenkirk's character in this. They just show how monotonous his life is. They show how he does the same routine over and over again. Him and his wife have a disconnect. His teenage boy doesn't really look up to him. His daughter loves him. But other than that, like, the only little pinch of, like, something that's worth it is his daughter. Because other than that, it's like there's this disconnect between them. Like I said, and and he feels like he's just dealing with a lot of shit. And he's trying to just turn the other cheek. He's constantly trying to turn the other cheek. He's constantly trying to relax. But he's got all this pent up rage inside of him. Because it's almost like he's been just trying to that there's a fire and he's been just trying to smother it out. But the more he tries, it just builds up and builds up and builds up. And then something happens where some people come into their house to rob them. Now, he springs into action, but once he realized that not only are these two people robbing them amateurs, and they're nervous as hell, and they're kids, basically, but he realizes that they didn't even come with an armed gun. Actually, they're pretty much fucking harmless, and he lets them go, but he thinks they stole something. He thinks they stole his daughter's little bracelet. And, he's been just chomping at the bit looking for a reason to go and like, you know, become that guy again, to be the guy he used to be. And this was like, you know, he was looking for a reason. But when he called out to the people, it turns out, you know, not only did they not take the bracelet, and spoiler alert for the end of the movie, they didn't actually take the bracelet. He felt bad about it because they were like a family and whatnot, and he's like, shit, what am I doing? And he left. But he still had this rage inside that he knew it was wrong to take it out on them, so he's like, fuck, I can't take it out on them. Then he's on the bus, just driving. Now, granted, this is like ridiculous coincidence. These random Russian assholes crash their car right next to the bus. And they get out the total car. They can't drive it anymore. They get out the total car and they hop on the bus. Like, just coincidental. And, you know, he was waiting for this. And he got into a brutal altercation with them. A brutal, nasty, just violent altercation. And man, like I said, the action, the fight sequences in this movie are really good. And Bob Odenkirk is doing a great job portraying a character. Like I just said, this is a man who lived a violent past. Like, according to him, he was an auditor, which meant in the government, an auditor in the government, which I don't think is a real thing, but meant that once, like they sent him to take out people that the law couldn't touch. Basically, he's the cleaner. They send him to kill people that they can't touch legally. So they just send him in, so that way they don't even have to touch him. And he's like he's so off the grid. Like it's crazy. He's so off the grid that like people, there are people in the government who don't have access to the files about him. At a certain point, a character's trying to find information on him, and man, and how far that character had to sort of dig into the government files just to find anything on him, and the clearance he tried to get kind of made it seem like, yeah, this dude's a scary motherfucker. And like I said, he worked for the government. He worked like literally every branch of he says the three organizations. So I'm guessing he means FBI, CIA, and another one. I'm guessing that's what he means. It's basically when the FBI, CIA, and a couple of the other branches, they can't get someone, they can't legally get someone, they send him in. They send people like him in to do it. And like literally, he's like, they're the people they send in when all has failed and we need someone to just clean this shit up and just, you know, so we can get on with our business. They send him in. But apparently, like all people, change of heart, wanted to, you know, leave this life behind. He got tired of being so cold, tried to start a family. But Bob Odenkirk does a great job of portraying this guy who is just like I said, you feel there's something more to this guy. Like, you feel it on his skin. Like, you feel it in his eyes, in the way that he moves his jaw, the way that he looks off in the distance. You're just like, there's something more to this guy. And like, he gets kind of joy out of killing these people because it's like he's unleashing something that's inside of him. And maybe he'll never be, maybe it's wrong because, and then there's kind of a subtle message in there about accepting yourself, like, actually, because, like, you know, the reason that he was so amped up in the first place because he kind of pushed it down so far. Maybe he should have took a job that was less violent, but still something. Maybe he should have become a cop or something. But it's like, he overcorrected to be like, I'm going complete cold turkey. I'm a house fucking dad. You know, I don't do anything. I'm not a killer. And it just like, it hurt. But then he overcorrected too far the other way, which is the reason this movie even happened. Because unfortunately, one of the guy's kids, one of the Russian assholes he beat up on that bus, happened to be the brother of a big-time Russian criminal. Of course. Now, this movie is written by the same guy. It's either directed or written by the same guy who worked on the original John Wick movie. So, you know, there are parallels, literally, from the fact that he is an assassin who's so badass that when people realize who he is, they freak out. Like in the beginning, when a tattoo artist sees his tattoo, recognizes it, and goes and gets the fuck out of there just from sight. From the fact that like once the file actually they discover the file, the woman who the Russian mob guy hires fucking quit. She's just like, nope, not fucking around with that. I know who this guy is. I ain't doing it. So like, it's pretty funny to me. It is. It's pretty funny. Like, they really did do the John Wick thing, right down to John Wick. You know, right down to him hurt. But it kind of was like in reverse because he had, like, you know. it's kind of in reverse, and it's kind of his fault because he kind of went out looking for a fight, looking for some shit to go down. And then when it did go down, you know, he accidentally, it was an accident because he didn't kill anyone else. He accidentally killed the Russian guy's brother. But still, like, it's really John Wick. It's a bit goofier. It doesn't have quite the same style as John Wick, like visual style as John Wick. It's a bit goofier, though there are some really good stylistic scenes in it. It's not quite as cool. Like I said, it gets a bit goofy, but not goofy in a just, you know, not goofy in a pretentious kind of way where it's like goofy in a we're having fun with this. Like at a certain point, you meet his father, who is old as shit. It's played by that same actor who played I believe who was in Back to the Future. I believe it's the same actor from Back to the Future, and he's old as shit. And like he's not really doing much moving. And at a certain point, you find out, and it's kind of like they keep mentioning, "Do we remember who we were?" I do. At a certain point, an action sequence happens with him, and the first action sequence he was sitting in the chair and he took these guys out in the chair, but he did it real smartly, like the way he did it. Like the guy was about to shoot him, and he put his he managed to get his finger between the hammer and the pit, and the hammer, and he just stopped it and he took a shotgun. Like the way he did it in the chair, that was cool. But when they got to the end, I was like, there ain't no way in hell this old man ain't get shot the fuck up as slow as he's moving. Like, it was just weird. And the RZA comes in here as fucking Bob Odenkirk's brother. There's no explanation for that. It's just, it is what it is. And it's just weird. So apparently his whole family, he's got his brother and his goddamn father are just murderers and they miss doing this shit. It was weird. By the time it got to that final action sequence, while it was still cool, I was like, this is some fucking goofy shit happening. But overall, I had a great time watching it. Had great action. I believed in Bob Odenkirk. I believed in him, in the movements, especially in the beginning. He's this man who, he really put over the rust. You know, because John Wick kind of put over the rust too, but John Wick was just like, he was just smooth as fucking silk. But Bob Odenkirk is like, you can tell that his character is like, he was once even worse than he is now. He's gotten softer. He's gotten, he's been kind of like, he's been, what's the word I'm looking for? The fangs have been taken out of him a bit, but the fangs have been kind of dulled off for a bit. But he still has them, and they're still there, and he's still as deadly. He's still deadly, just not quite as deadly, because he does get fucked up in this movie. But he always gets back up. Because that sequence in the first fight sequence you see, he really gets fucked up, but he wins. But anywho, I give it a solid 8. I give it a solid 8 because overall, the problems I have with the movie are just minimal, really. Because I thought it was a bit goofy at points, like just a bit like, okay, that's ridiculous. And like the whole Home Alone thing that he ends up doing near the tail end of it was like, okay, so you like made a kill box for them to come there, but like, how would you know they're gonna even come? Like, there's little loopholes, like little things like that. That's like, okay, like a billion things could have happened. There's still like you still don't really know who the hell he is. It's not like, cause like at least in John Wick, cause in John Wick you hear the story. You hear the story. You hear from many people. You know how many people feel about him. And you just, he's a legend, the way people react to him. But in this, you really don't know. You don't really get a good look at the paperwork. So you just shroud it in more mystery, which is cool and all. But he's not quite as badass to have that kind of shrouded of mystery. Like, it's like, man, like, either you're really rusty, or, but which he could be. But, like I said, I still had a great time with this movie. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Nobody. You should check out Nobody. It's actually on Amazon right now. You can actually purchase it. But I just wanted to go to the movies to see it, so I went to the movies to see it. So thank you guys for joining the Comedy Game Movie Show. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll have my review of, I'm trying to watch both Demon Slayer, the movie, and Mortal Kombat in one day. If I could pull that off, that'd be great. I'm going to try to see if I can convince Seth to do this double-decker with me. Because I know I could probably convince him to do one. I don't know if I can convince him to do both. Because me and him both like Demon Slayer. So hopefully I can get bope of those watch both of those movies and review them. Like, it's been kind of weird lately. Because there hasn't been a lot of movies in the theater. But, like, my routine, usually I'm pumping out a lot of movie reviews because I'm always watching a movie in the theaters. But it's just kind of strange for me lately without the amount of movies that I'm used to being in theaters. So I'm reviewing a lot more other stuff than that I usually didn't. Like, I can imagine the kind of stuff I'd be reviewing with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Marvel movies, and all the other movies that were supposed to come out. I digress. I enjoyed this movie. I think you guys will. If you're a fan of action movies, if you're a fan of the John Wick franchise, this movie honestly will slip right in there. If they said this movie took place in John Wick universe, I would be like, okay, that sounds believable to me. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.